Don Quixote was never a real feudal knight. Rather, he became a knight-errant, an ideal knight taken to travel on his own, attempting, via the fictional stories he had read, to reintroduce a sense of chivalry and tradition back into a world that had long since forgotten Arthurian legend. Unable to distinguish between fiction and fact or idealism with realism, Don Quixote proves quite the hyperstitional character, altering the flow of desire so as to reshape the world around him in a socially constructed sense, even attacking windmills, viewing them as giants due to his delusions. In the manga and anime freerun, the character Himmel is referred to as the fake hero, since he is unable to pull the proverbial and Arthurian sword from the stone, known in the manga as the hero's sword. Nonetheless, despite not being the hero of prophecy, he became one anyways, a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts, going on to defeat the Demon King with his companions. In doing this, Himmel became a legend in his own right, viewed by the people as the very hero once prophesied from the past. Fiction, in other words, turned itself into fact, ontologically allowing the past to exist in an ever-eternal present, as noted by Augustinian or Bergsonian time. Subcomandante Marcos himself has noted the influence the character Don Quixote had upon him, seeing him akin to the archetypal knight-errant. In the Conversations with Dorito, Marcos uses the character called Don Dorito. Dorito means the little hard one, in reference to the beetle, where Marcos, being a subcomandante akin to Sancho Panza, acts as the beetle's lackey. La Realidad, or the Real, is the land of Chiapas itself, meant to be altered by the undead. As noted in Our Word is Our Weapon, Marcos meets a Mayan shaman, old Don Antonio, who tells him all of the oral tales of the indigenous community. He tells him that it is only by asking questions that one can change the world. As we noted before, with lifelong learning, one must ask questions, going upon a quest tied to the word querer, meaning to seek. And thus, we see the similarities to the knight-errant and the Arthurian legend, tied to hyperstition as well as education and the political determination of the Zapatistas who, via hyperstition, attempt to change the reality of Chiapas for the indigenous people there, allowing fiction to influence fact. As we have noted before, the occult is linked to everything. The idea of asking questions and uncovering new truths to shape and reshape reality over and over again gets us back to the concept of death and rebirth and the Delusian body without organs, the egg of becoming other. We have also related this back to Crowley via the Knight of Pan and the Whore of Babylon. We must remember that the Holy Grail from Arthurian legend is a key component used during the Knight of Pan, whereby one's ego dissolves so as to be reborn, akin to Christ, as we discussed previously with the work The Chalice of Ecstasy by Frater Achad, which is available to read for free and linked below. The book also concerns itself with the character of Parzival, the knight who seeks the Holy Grail from the Arthurian tales. Achad also connects the occult to the Kabbalah, as we noted before, with the Path of the Flaming Sword, the 10 Sephiroth spheres, and the 22 Paths of the Tarot, forming the 32 Paths to Wisdom, where the dove, as noted in the Lamen of the Ordo Templi Orientis, descends from on high via the rays of illumination towards the Rosicrucian cross below, causing one's consciousness to bloom like the flowers, becoming enlightened or illuminated by the light. One, of course, forms the chalice itself by connecting the Sephiroth spheres, specifically Sephiroth spheres 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 10, connecting the higher to the lower, as above, so below, or Keter to Malkuth, again, yielding the number 31, which in Hebrew gematria is the numeration for the letter Al, where the letters Aleph and Lamed join, forming Aal, God, and La, not God, to Achad, proving to be a paradox which notes the limitations of language in the face of certain transcendental truths which seem nonsensical outside sense perception. Aleph, being the first letter, values, of course, as 1, while Lamed is the 12th letter, valuing 30. We must remember that the point of prophecy, as noted in Tarot and astrology or fortune-telling or Kabbalah, is to escape the predetermined fate that is written for us amidst the stars, escaping from out the cosmopolitan life of society. And so, like Himmel or Quixote, one must make their own prophecies so they too can come to pass. Like the Veil of Isis, such is what it means to seek the Grail or come to understand Kabbalah, which Land uses for the purposes of hyperstition, connected to the Delusian structured rhizomatic numogram, tied to demonic summoning, or what Crowley noted in the Lesser Key of Solomon as the ability to call things up from one's subconscious. As Culiano noted in Eros and Magic in the Renaissance, magic was but a precursor to psychology itself. Thaumaturgy, or the performing of miracles, simply means to make things manifest in reality so as to change or alter reality itself. We have noted the connections between the words liberty and libation via Liber, the Roman god of wine, and cultivation, tied to death and rebirth, as well as agriculture and the occult. Liber also means book, which is why Crowley always refers to his books as Liber. Liber etymologically stems back to the inner bark of a tree, which was used for writing. Via writing books of fiction, one is able to get drunk with bacchanalian desires, undergoing the rites found in the mystery cults, dying so as to be reborn, going on the hero's journey via Campbell, or quest via Querer, calling things into question, learning as he adventures on in life, and coming to change his own culture via the occult and his own oracular insights. Such a man is anything but an armchair philosopher, for as Land notes, in thinking we have come to know our adventures ultimately end. We die, but are unable to be reborn, confined to Burroughs' one-god universe, having no way to get outside. The Lemurian spiral stands as a symbol for hyperstition itself, where, via demonic summoning, new concepts and things are conjured into creation. This is the magic and fantasy, the fantasia or inner mind, of every man who, as Tolkien noted, gets lost in the fantasy realm of the fairies, where fantasy to Tolkien remains the true reality, tied to Crowley, to Tannhauser and Venusberg, linked to Venus and Aphrodite and Lucifer. Renaissance means rebirth, and so it's no surprise to see the popularity of the occult during said age, which stemmed from the 14th to 17th centuries, laying the very groundwork for the Age of Enlightenment, the 17th to 18th centuries. Tolkien, we must remember, was highly influenced by the likes of Owen Barfield, who himself was a student of Rudolf Steiner and the Anthroposophical School. Like the Greek eidolon, which we connected to the astral body or Agawides, tied to one's guardian angel and the demonic genius, fantasy also relates to the word phantom or ghost. Marcos himself has taken on numerous different personas over the years, dying so as to be reborn so as to combat the neoliberal agenda. The EZLN is viewed as being undead, since their ideas can never die, even if Marcos or another figurehead is killed. After all, how does one ever die when they can merely be reborn as something other by altering the flow of desire via hyperstition? Like books and beer, one gets drunk on the divine, always escaping outside, allowing the past to merge in an eternal present akin to time travel, gaining a glimpse behind the veil of Isis, reborn as the Egyptian beetle each and every day, akin to the setting and rising of the sun, linked to Ra and Set. Like Heraclitus' fire or Promethean fire, all is flux and flow. One cannot step into the same river twice, since both the river and man have both changed with time. As Kepri comes, like Marcos's Don Dorito or Cervantes' Don Quixote, there's little difference between a real feudal knight and a fictional knight-errant, a nomadic wanderer, like a rover aboard his pirate ship at sea, who, though seemingly a bit mentally unbalanced, drunk on his many fictional books, allows fantasy to become the true underlying reality. Transcendentally, we are off to seek the unknown, the Holy Grail. As the dead collector noted in Monty Python's The Holy Grail, perhaps it's time for all of us to bring out the dead in the hopes that they may be reborn. Like Dulcinea, love becomes the law, tied to our will as we wander out in the world. And like Don Quixote's death, whereby he regains his sense of sanity, once we lose our madness of the mind, where our imagination allows us to turn fictions into facts, tied to land to both Kant's noumenon and Lovecraftian madness, our death symbolizes not just the loss of chivalry itself, but the death of society due to its inability to be reborn. As we enter our own techno-feudal society, as Varoufakis claims, tied to a Deleuzian control society and the technological surveillance state, as noted with the likes of men like Larry Ellison, new knight-errants will be needed to explore the depths of Pan's darkening night, allowing for a new golden day to dawn, lost in illumination whilst being freed from cruel fate. Copernicus came from the Renaissance, and revolution deals with the revolving of the stars themselves. As Marcos noted, politics proves to be quite chaotic. In an age of dying light, as night descends, and as the ages of man decline, as Hesiod foresaw, or as Tolkien noted with Arda, I await for some kind of eucatastrophe to occur, where a new golden day will dawn, fulfilling the fairy story of Christly resurrection and rebirth, out from ruin, only so as to return to it in time, flying like a phoenix.